Bristol Motor Speedway used to pack in 160,000 screaming fans. This weekend, the place looked like a ghost town, and now everyone is asking the same question. Is one of NASCAR's most famous tracks actually in trouble? Let's back up for a second. This past weekend was wild. Ty Gibbs won his first Cup race at Bristol in dramatic fashion. But while people were talking about that win, something else was getting noticed. Those empty seats. And it kicked off a huge debate about where NASCAR is heading. Here's what's really strange. At the very same time, Bristol looked empty. 3 other racing events were completely sold out. All 3 were packed shoulder to shoulder. And that's what's got everyone scratching their heads. First, Nashville Fairgrounds was stuffed full for a Cars Tour race. Why? Because Dale Jr. showed up to race. The place was mobbed. Bob Sargent, a longtime promoter, actually told Kenny Wallace he had never seen it that crowded before. His exact words were, "Yes, it was shoulder to shoulder." Second, down in Bradenton, Florida, Cletus McFarland hosted a big event at his Freedom Factory. The sign out front was flashing, sold out. Over 100,000 people watched it live online, too. And third, over in Charlotte, Kenny Schrader raced in something called the IROC Heritage Invitational that was also packed. Big names like Bill Elliott, Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, and Ryan Newman all showed up to race these old cars from the 90s. Schrader even raced his own original IROC car from 1995. Same engine, same brakes, same shocks, everything original. He called it play racing and said it was a blast. The event was held at the brand new 1/10th track built by Rick Hendrick and Marcus Smith right across from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Schrader said the facility was beautiful, kind of like an American version of that famous Goodwood Festival in England. Drivers were changing clothes together in a small hauler, telling old stories just like the old days. So now the big question. If these smaller throwback events are selling out, why is Bristol, one of NASCAR's crown jewel tracks, looking empty? Kenny Wallace laid out his theory pretty clearly. He said, "It's definitely a better look to have a small restaurant pack. You know, we can't get in here to eat because there's 30 people in here and it's full occupancy. That creates buzz a line out the door, people feeling like they have to get in before it's too late." But Kenny Schrader pushed back hard on the idea that fans are craving old school NASCAR. He said, "I don't see a dying, burning desire there for old NASCAR." He pointed out that Nashville was packed because of Dale Jr., not because of nostalgia. And Cletus McFarland's whole brand is about entertainment and excitement, not old racing memories. Now, let's talk about Bristol's numbers. Schrader guessed the crowd was around 20 to 25% of full capacity. Sounds bad, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Even at a quarter full, Bristol still had way more people in the stands than a sold-out Nashville. Nashville only holds about 12,000 people. Bristol is much, much bigger. So which is better for sponsors? A small track that looks packed on TV, or a huge track that looks empty but actually has more bodies and seats? Schrader broke it down simply. He said being a major sponsor at Nashville might cost around $50,000. At Bristol, you're looking at over $100,000. You get what you pay for. But then comes the tough question. Should Bristol lose a race date? Would taking away the spring race force everyone to show up for the night race in August? Schrader wasn't sure, but he did say Nashville Fairgrounds probably doesn't have a future anyway. There's no room for trucks, trailers, or even parking. Plus, a new soccer stadium was built right next door. In his words, that killed any chance to get an O'Reilly race or a Cup race at Nashville at the fairgrounds. He pointed out there's already a beautiful Nashville Super Speedway just 40 miles away with plenty of room. Now, on to the actual race. Ty Gibbs finally broke through and won at Bristol. And the timing was something else. His team is in the middle of a messy lawsuit. Chris Gabehart said some negative things about Ty in court documents. So for Ty to win right in the middle of all that drama, well, like Bill Elliott always says, timing and circumstances. Schrader had a lot of respect for how Ty pulled it off. He said he stayed true to his plan, running his deal, and he did a great job. Late in the race, things got tough. A yellow came out. Ryan Blaney took 4 tires. Kyle Larson took 2. Everything was set up for Ty to lose. But he held on. Ty has been crazy consistent, too. He's finished in the top 5 in 5 of the last 6 races. The 6th race, he finished 6th at Darlington. That's a top 6 finish in every race for over a month. He's not leading the points only because of 2 bad wrecks earlier this Y. year at Daytona and Atlanta. Claire B. Lang did a touching interview with Ty's mom after the win. She's been through so much. She lost her husband. She sat in courtrooms during the NASCAR lawsuit, and now she got to watch her son win at Bristol. She said this year has felt special because the team has been under so much pressure, and that pressure has brought everyone closer together. The finish itself was a beauty. Ryan Blaney second, with Kyle Larson third. You had the Blaney family racing tradition going up against the Gibbs family tradition. Clean racing. No dirty moves, just good stuff. The poll results were interesting though. 2 hours after the race, 65% of fans said it was a good race. 35% said no. Kenny Wallace thinks the no votes came from Chase Elliott fans because Chase got wrecked out early and ran poorly all day. Speaking of rough days, the Hendrick Motorsports team had a bad one. Alex Bowman came back from injury and got wrecked right away. Chase Elliott and William Byron were both off all day. Byron's crew chief totally missed the setup. The broadcast even called it out. Only Kyle Larson looked decent out of the 4 Hendrick drivers. The support races at Bristol were also wild. The truck race came down to the wire. Christopher Bell held off Caden Honeycutt for the win, but there was drama because Honeycutt's teammate wouldn't move out of the way. Schrader explained how he always handled it back in his day. "I'm sorry. When you know it's inevitable, you get out of the way and don't screw over either one of them." The Christopher Bell win was emotional. He drove for Stuart Friesen